first-round matchup will be a rematch from last year's postseason. In Game 4, Luka had this memorable game winner to tie the series up at 2. Unfortunately for the Mavs, Kristaps Porzingis missed games 4 through 6 after he suffered a lateral meniscus tear in his right knee. The injury caused him to miss the rest of the postseason. And after the series was tied up, knotted at 2, Kawhi and the Clippers took the next 2 games to close out the Mavs in 6. Kawhi averaging nearly 33 points per game in the series. Max Kellerman, who is more important to this series, your boy Luka or Kawhi Leonard?
It's actually Kawhi Leonard.
Okay.
First of all, we're in the playoffs. You notice how Luka has been a little hot-tempered this entire season, showing a little immaturity? Is that Kawhi Leonard? You have to worry about Kawhi losing his cool in the playoffs? And I know he had a bad Game 7 against Denver. Yeah. That was atypical. Kawhi Leonard has been one of the greatest postseason performers in the history of any sport. He's been incredibly clutch. In fact, last year against Dallas, same series, right? 33, 10, and 5 for the series, shooting 54% from the field. And you know what his plus-minus was? 38. When he's playing you 38 points better over the course of the series than the Dallas Mavericks. Stephen A., except for the plus-minus, everything I just said only speaks to Kawhi's offense. What's Kawhi going to be primarily known for? His defense. Actually, they're statistical, offensively, statistically, Luka and Kawhi are very similar. Kawhi has more steals, of course. Luka has more assists, of course. They're different kinds of players. But offensively, they're very similar in terms of what they're going to score and their rebounds and all this stuff. And then defensively, there's no comparison. So when you add all that up and then plus take into account Kawhi's history of clutch performances, the answer is Kawhi Leonard.
The answer is not Kawhi Leonard. And I'm not taking anything away from the greatness of Kawhi Leonard, because even though I get on him about the load management stuff, the bottom line is he is an elite performer when it counts for the most part. And I won't take that away from him. I know how great he is. But last time I checked, Paul George ain't nothing to sneeze at. Rondo, meaning playoff Rondo, is nothing to sneeze at. Reggie Jackson is not a scrub. Morris can play. They just picked up Kennard. They've got DeMarcus Cousins. They've got a few others. Without Luka, what are the Dallas Mavericks? I'm sorry. This is a brother we ignore because we've been paying so much attention to the greatness of Steph Curry, the triple-doubles of Russell Westbrook, the injuries to Anthony Davis, and, of course, LeBron James. We just forgot that a guy by the name of Luka Doncic is averaged 27.7 points, 8.6 assists, 8 rebounds, shooting 47.9% from the field and 35% from three-point range. How many people in the league got those numbers? And the Dallas Mavericks were 42 and 30.
Putting in that work.
All right, and this is with Kristaps Porzingis missing 29 games this year. They are 42 and 30, 12 games over 500, okay? A top 4 or 5 seed in the West with a superstar that has flown under the radar. Oh. The Dallas Mavericks, hold on. The Dallas Mavericks are nothing. Nothing without Luka Doncic other than Mark Cuban. Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, billionaire, Mark Cuban, brilliant mind, somebody we all love talking to, definitely a friend of the show, and, of course, the championship coach that is Rick Carlisle. The point is, Luka is everything to that. In this series, even without Kawhi Leonard, the Clippers have a chance. Without Luka, Dallas, I would say lottery, but they'd be lower than that.
I would agree with that, actually. If you took Luka off that team, they have less of a chance because he runs their offense. You say the primary ball handler on a squad who runs your offense is more important. I think that's a good argument. But actually, when you look at these two teams last year, Clippers should have lost that series.
It was 2-2. It was 2-1. Clippers were up 2-1. Porzingis, by the way, dropped 34 in that third game.
That's what I'm
But they still lost that game. They were still down 2-1.
They threw Porzingis out of the game because he barely argued 2 bad calls on both sides of the floor.
Right.
And then he got hurt.
And they got to stop that.
When Porzingis was on the floor, they were the better team. We know what we're going to get from Luka. We know what we're going to get from Kawhi. Those two dudes are studs. Really, if you want to start getting to what would the team be without, it's going to come down to the play of Paul George on the one hand and Kristaps Porzingis on the other. If you want to make it like that, then we say which second banana is going to play better. That'll determine the series. But who's going to be the best player on the court? It's going to be Kawhi Leonard.
I'm sorry. Did you ask who was going to be the best player? Wasn't the question is the most important? Was that not the question? That's what I answered. I didn't say that Luka was better than Kawhi. I said the most important player is Luka Doncic, because without Luka Doncic, there is no playoff series. Without Kawhi Leonard, there still might be. Without Luka, there's no series.
Talking about in this series.
Did I just say that?
The reason there's no playoff series without Luka is because
the Dallas
Cavs has been hurt the whole season.
And the Dallas Mavericks don't have pretty much anything else.
No, they have some other pieces.
That he makes look good.
Look, no, they have actually other guys who can play. But he is the guy running their
I'm not calling them
offense.
scrubs. I'm saying they're in the lottery. They're irrelevant. They don't exist if it were not for Luka Doncic.
If Porzingis were hurt all year, that's true. He's not hurt for this series. He's going to be playing in this series. And he was the pivotal guy last year. When he was playing, they were better than the Clippers. When he was out, they were worse than the Clippers.
Okay.
Porzingis.
Okay. Well, when you get a feather and you throw it by Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, and he's out for 2 weeks because of it, because he got hit by a feather.
You can't expect him to survive a feather.
You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
Ridiculous.
Come on, man. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.